The Solo Show is brought to you by Victor Naraki Realtor, serving Disney and the greater Orlando area with celebratingflorida.com and disneyatyourdoorstep.com.
Hello, I'm Realtor Victor Naraki, and at one time I had created a search for you online for homes near Disney World. I wanted to take a moment to introduce you to my brand new website. Same name, new functionality, celebratingflorida.com. If you're still looking for property near Disney World, please take a look at the website. If it's a future wish, visit disneyatyourdoorstep.com for all my social media links. Thank you, and hopefully we will talk soon.
Bored of your ordinary life?
Yes, sir.
Want to do something exciting?
Like what?
Join Wim, Fern, KB, Neil, and Jod.
It's me.
They call themselves Skeleton Crew. They've stumbled on something legendary, but they're not alone.
Follow me and watch where you step.
Join the adventure in Skeleton Crew on Disney+.
Hello and Happy New Year, and welcome to an all-new Skeleton Crew recap as we talk about episode 6, Zero Friends Again. And I got my Roundtable team here today. I say Happy New Year because this episode actually dropped 2024 New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2024. And joining us is a special guest from the Disney Nerds podcast. Ed, welcome to the show, and how are you enjoying Skeleton Crew?
Hey, Stan, welcome. Thank you for welcoming me to the show. I'm liking Skeleton Crew. I think it's definitely fun to watch. We're still debating how canonish it will be down at the end, but still very, very fun to watch. I like all the characters. The stars are definitely doing it for me, so very good.
Right on. Also joining us is Patrick Kerr. What do you got written in there? You changed your name. What do you?
Well, that's my Star Cruiser name. That's my original character. It's just my name backwards.
Oh, okay.
Here tap.
Gotcha.
Nice.
How are you today? And how are you? What are your thoughts on this week's edition of Skeleton Crew? Zero Friends Again.
It was fun. I'm going to start off by saying I called it on where they went on the episode from our last episode when we were conjecturing about where they might go. Called it.
You called it, or did I call it?
Well, I think we called it. That
okay.
we agreed. I don't want to get into the spoilers yet. So anyway,
I'm
doing well. I enjoyed the episode.
Yeah, we're going to go spoiler free for the first little bit. We'll play a little fun ad, and then we'll come back with spoilers. And I do not have Zero Friends again because I got my friend here, Jedi Scott. Welcome back to the round table. And how are you today? And what are your thoughts on this week's edition?
It was good. It was a quick episode. I was surprised how quick it was, but overall, I enjoyed it. It was a fun episode, and waiting for the next one.
Yeah, I think this was the second shortest runtime. I think the second episode was a little bit shorter in the runtime as far as that goes. And honestly, I don't think there was a heck of a lot of heavy story in this one. We didn't learn much in this one without getting into spoilers. Other than we learned that these kids are really good actors. Would you agree, Ed?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And as far as we kind of got to see a lot more from them this episode. I think that's kind of what the theme was going to be when we start talking about it a little bit more in depth. But yeah, they got to show their chops, definitely.
Yeah. You're nodding your head, Patrick?
Yeah, I remember before the show came out, I watched the little featurette that they had on Disney Plus with the directors, and they showed some behind the scenes footage of Bryce Dallas Howard directing the kids. And at the time, I didn't know that she only directed one episode. So I thought that she was going to be doing a little bit more with them throughout the series. But after seeing all of the episode directors, I actually was looking and noticed that there seemed to be a noticeable increase in how well the kids were doing. Like there was something that was just like a tiny step up. I really do love how Bryce Dallas Howard directs.
Yeah, she got the kids to act good. Like Fern was amazing in this one, I think.
Sure.
What about you, Scott?
Oh yeah, I liked the interaction with KB and Wham. You know, like not going into spoilers. I like that interaction with them. Then seeing Fern and Neil. You know, so got to see him mix it up a little bit and do stuff separate with the group. So no, it was. I agree. Bryce Howard did a good job on this one with the kids and all that.
Does anyone know why do they not just have one director? Is it to save time? Like, are they able to have one director shoot and then they can kind of edit their spot while another director shooting? Like, what's the reasoning for 5 different directors or 7 different directors? Ed, do you know?
I always assumed it was just because so many good directors wanted to be part of this. And from that beginning with The Mandalorian, I think that they were able to see how that worked. And kind of based on the episode, the director kind of fits.
From what I gathered watching, again, only the Disney Plus given to us behind the scenes stuff, it allows them to break up a lot of the production responsibilities so that one person only has to take care of their one episode and they can get everything together for that themselves and it can be perfect for them. And then 3 weeks later, they can just pull somebody else in who's already ready to go. The crew doesn't have to like do a whole new. That's the way I understood it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well,
All right.
I like how they do it, the different directors. You get different takes on it. You know, I'm sure they got a thing to work from A to Z, and what they want to get with it is just how they want to bring it out. And every director has their different styles.
Yeah.
For sure. And what you said about the director this week, Bryce, she was incredible, and the kids have not acted as well as they had since or from the beginning. It's more of their individuality came out, I think, this episode, as opposed to being the group, the mass, the Goonies.
Yeah, this was definitely a character-driven episode for sure. Alrighty, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to hear from McDonald's and their latest sandwich, and then we'll be right back.
Available for a limited time only. It's the all-new McTrash Crab Sandwich. The McTrash Crab Sandwich is a 100% trash crab patty with no fillers, served with a tangy barbecue sauce. Add on fries and a delicious blue milk bantha shake, the McTrash Crab combo is sure to please. Just 15 Republic credits. The McTrash Crab Sandwich available only for a limited time and only at La Nupa McDonald's locations.
There we are. So if you're going to La Nupa, you can get the new trash crab sandwich, and we'll talk a little bit more about the trash crabs later on.
I'm hungry now. I want to eat.
There's a reason for them.
Alrighty. So previously on, we get a recap, and one of the things that they point out to us in the recap was the "Don't touch this button." So they're going to touch that button in this episode. They don't show that in the recap for no reason.
But the character that did was the surprise.
Yes. Yes. Episode 1, we all took a kind of a poll, and we all knew at some point that button's going to be pushed, and we all agreed it was going to be Wim would be the one pushing it. And yeah, that was a surprise for sure.
It was really cool to see that shell pull away. It was really cool.
Right? Yeah. Oh, definitely. And I know I've seen that ship before, or at least that design. So I'm interested to see it clean next time.
Yeah.
Jumping ahead a little bit with that new ship design, do you think the pirates are not going to notice it now if they happen to run into each other?
Ooh,
right. Very good point.
Yeah, but do they matter? They're going to shoot them anyways. It doesn't matter who they are. They shoot them down.
Depending where they're going. If it's a crowded port, then it might be easy to slip in.
Yeah.
And all of that armor that just peeled right off there, that answers all of our questions about how did it survive the crash at Atten, and how did it survive all that time, and its stuff's falling off of it. How is it? It's just armor. It's just there to be beaten on.
Yeah,
and you bring up a great point, because even after it pulled out, as the ship was turning around, the nose still did hit the ground, and the little wing did hit the ground. And I'm like, Star Wars spaceships are so much better than real life spaceships. We have a strong wind take out a spaceship, a rocket going up. But Star Wars, you can bounce on the ground and keep on.
You get a snowbank with your car and your bumper shatters. Nowadays.
With the Millennium Falcon. The Millennium Falcon can go through a concrete arch,
bouncing off the
ground. Like we were talking about, how does this ship survive space? Because it has tree roots growing in it. Well, it was just the outer shell that had the tree roots growing through it. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like when it took, like there was tree roots hanging and all that. So Anyways, I thought that was kind of answered. That answered a lot of questions for us right there.
Mhm.
The birthing of the new ship. Anyway, that's jumping way ahead. We start off kind of right where we left off again, with the kids sliding through Skull Mountain, and they splitting up as they kind of go. I thought they were going to end up being completely split up, but they end up dumping out on the same spot of the planet. That was kind of a cool, kind of a homage to Goonies and a little bit of Empire with Luke. Sliding down the thing.
Yep.
KB doesn't survive it very well. She's kind of out almost.
Right. And actually, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. Go ahead, Ed.
I was going to say, out of this episode, I think KB is going to be the most explored character we're going to find. Fern does have her moments, but I think KB is going to be the big find for us. I
was going to say it was very interesting to see the extent to which KB's mods are a part of her.
Wow. Yeah.
It's a part of her motor function. If she doesn't have these mods, she doesn't move.
Yeah, she even came out and said that. Yeah, I got the coordinates. I know what the coordinates are going back to Ad-Atten. So
yeah,
even just the amount of storage space she has in her skull. There's so much room back there. It seemed like you fit a couple more things in there than the chip that was there.
Yeah.
Why is this kid in school? Just plug her in.
Ask that. So going back to the first episode, we were saying well, Fern had the award for best student or smartest student in the school. We were all saying, well, KB's way smarter than Fern. Maybe she's not eligible for that prize. Like we were kind of saying, well, Fern's mom pulled some strings and that's why Fern got that award. But could be KB's half computer and that's why she's not eligible. She's for that to get that chip or whatever it was, that medal her mom brought home. Yeah. Just some headcanon there for people to think about. They just kind of rest her on her side in the recovery position if you're in CPR or if you're in first aid. They put her in recovery position. That should reboot her. I noticed something though, that the kids are looking a lot worse for wear than they have this entire series, especially KB. Like her hair was always straight and level, and now it was longer,
wavy and
messy. Fern's hair is all out of place.
Only natural. I'm glad they're following through the storyline, and it actually hasn't been, I don't think, that many days since the beginning of the series, has it?
Probably only been 2 or 3 days,
right? So they're starting to get ratty. That makes a little bit of sense, and they're in a crappy old ship.
Even Neil's has a little tuft of hair on top of his head. It looks a bit longer to me. I noticed it for the first time, kind of being there. I didn't really notice it. John comes out of the manhole cover right in front of the welcoming committee at the resort, covered in jewels and pearl necklaces, like as much as he can carry.
And let me interrupt here.
Yeah.
I know I have met and shaken the hand of someone who is in that welcoming committee.
Oh, get out! Really, that's cool.
Yeah, his name is
that?
No, his name is John Rodriguez. He's a prop maker. He's a part of the Dad Batch. He cosplays. And I met him officially, really, for the first time in San Diego this past year at Mosh Isley. But he was a Mon Cala in extra in some of the scenes. And in this one, he's standing directly next to the main woman who has the clipboard.
Okay. So invite your friend on.
He has his own podcast, The Dad Batch.
Oh, he'll come on then. And Scott was right when he said that, well, John just has to bring all these treasures from the vault and he'll have it made practically at that point. He brought as much as he could carry and as much as Smee could carry as well.
Right. The treasure looked a little bit too piratey, though. Didn't it look a little bit too Caribbean? The pearls on top of that.
Pearls.
Right. Give me like purple ones or something a little bit more alien.
More exotic or something.
They were definitely white pearls that you would see.
Yeah.
Well, not to beat the drum again, but on Star Cruiser we stole a gem from a Rylothian gem and repatriated it to Ryloth. So like they've got blue and purple gems out there. Let's just come on.
Yeah.
It's there.
Yeah. Well, apparently they didn't go to the Star Cruiser then.
No. I don't think anybody has.
Yeah, nobody has. Patrick's been there 20 times, so that's it. Nobody else has gone. So the pirates are also there. It seems like that acid bath wasn't as potent as we thought it was.
True. Very true. Yeah.
It looks like it only got one.
Yeah, probably only a couple people died in it.
Yeah.
Right, because I thought they all off.
That's what we were talking. We were like, how many? Like we were saying, is Urkel going to be back next week? Like he sounded like he was screaming for a place.
Yeah.
He was leading the way.
Yeah.
So Smee comes out of the manhole cover with all his as many jewels as he can carry, and they shoot him right away.
One shot.
One shot. Yeah, he's out. Something I noticed: the pirates they don't have much droids around, other than their collection of dead droids that they keep in the closet.
Good point.
Yeah.
I don't recall seeing a droid anywhere.
Not to see how many people really do have droids in the Star Wars galaxy. Like, is that a common thing? But then again, Luke's uncle and aunt had them on the desert planet in the middle of nowhere, and they had a bunch of them. So I guess everybody would have.
Yeah. I mean, like the barkeeper in Mos Eisley Cantina didn't have any because he didn't even allow them in.
Want anybody else either.
I guess the way I think about it is the difference between like think like a traditional Midwestern Kansas farmer and all of the tractors that they have that help them out versus an inner city gang that hangs out in bars. And how many? Well, I guess they got motorcycles.
How many tractors do they have?
No. I'm just saying. Like it's different equipment. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
I get it.
So like they wouldn't use droids because it's not useful to them.
But then droids would be usful to open or
yes, exactly,
doors and stuff like that.
Be cannon fodder. You guys go first.
Yeah. Scott, you have something to say, I see.
Yeah, I guess with like Owen and, Luke's family, they used their workers.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't treat him as like a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Unlike you see R2-D2 and C-3PO later in the movies, they became more of a friends instead of
but I got
being workers.
That's going to be the rarity of it all. R2 and C-3PO as far as droids go, because wasn't there in some of the movies or some of the series the beginning of a droid rights movement starting?
That was in Solo.
Okay, yeah. So that's around somewhere.
Droids rights.
Well, you look at Andor with K2SO. I think they're more of buddies instead of.
Well, he thought he was the boss, actually, as far as that goes.
Well, and Lando's.
Lando's.
Right.
I find that answer vague and unconvincing.
Yeah.
The George Lucas said that droids were like toasters in the Star Wars universe. I guess pirates don't use toasters. Like, they said everybody has one, but pirates don't.
You would think they would have them and use them as muscle.
Yeah, carrying stuff.
You got to remember, R2, what his original job really was is a repair droid on a starship. So he's only there to fix it when it breaks. So, you never know.
And 3PO is just there to translate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Although that seems more a little bit like, more extreme for the diplomats or for something like that, as opposed to every ship's got to have a way to fix it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So suddenly a couple of X-Wings appear attacking the pirates, and they hop into their ships right away, take off. They get one of the pirate ships right off the hop, the X-Wings.
It looks like I thought they hit the second one too.
They damaged the second one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the one that Jod was on, I'm assuming that's when the Jod was on, because we don't. Oh yeah, we do see him later. Yeah, he gets in the his gets damaged when that he's on. The kids see the X-Wings from the ground and they're like, "Hey, those are the bad guys." And like, no, those are the good guys. They're after the pirates. So they basically learned how. Really, well, they already knew how Jod was, but now they really know how Jod was.
Right, and we also know a planet has no idea about. I mean, we kind of heard this earlier, but they have no idea what an X-Wing was. How can you not know what an X-Wing was for the last 20 years?
Yeah,
in this universe.
Yeah, so this is definitely before. Well, we knew it was before the Empire that these kids have been, or this planet has been in solitary.
Well, fair enough.
They're still making old Republic coins.
Well, right, and that's the Old Republic. We need to know. Of course, Legends talked about Old Republic, right? In canon, as far as I know, we don't know the exact time frame of when Old Republic, quote, Old Republic was.
Mm-hmm. And is that old and high the same thing?
No. The High Republic. The High Republic was Yoda has been alive for the whole time, so it's like under 700 years. But the Old Republic is, at least in canon, thousands of years earlier.
So if this planet's from the Old Republic and it's been hidden ever since, shouldn't everything on the planet be totally different in thousands of years of development and such?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, moving
on. Which is why it's odd that there's a Rex droid driving the bus.
Yeah.
Or a pirate crashed there, even in everything. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Still.
So it turns out that KB knows, of course, Ed Atten, saved in her memory. I seem to recall somebody on this podcast saying that could possibly be. I'm wondering who that was now.
Oh yeah. They were not going to be leaving the planet, and they were going to be using the coordinates. Yep.
Yeah. No, I seem to recall somebody in this podcast saying KB will remember where the coordinates were. Fern and KB has an argument about climbing to the Onyx Cinder or finding another way. It is decided that Fern and Neil will climb, while Wynn and KB decide to follow the trash cabs. Now available at McDonald's, by the way.
Well, now I think we know why KB didn't go with Fern, though. I think KB knew that she was going to be in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And if she passed out going up on that ladder, then that would have been the end of her.
Yeah, I agree. And that falls into the whole conversation that happens in a little while, too. Mm-hmm. She's afraid to tell her of her limitations. Tell Fern.
And I think, if we're digging a little bit deeper into the characters, I think KB knows more about Fern than Fern knows about herself, just from watching her, right? And I don't think that KB believed that Fern would have the wherewithal to help her fix what was wrong.
True. That's another turn in the show, is where Fern kind of had a little blossoming too of her quote unquote leadership skills as captain.
Yep. And this show was great for the kids growing. Yeah, it was really fun.
A lot of character development in this one.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And a monster of the week.
Yeah. And anybody thinking Moana when you saw that guy?
Yeah.
I thought of South Park, the crab people.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
I like when Wim says we can't climb up there because you're going to fall and break every bone in your body. Like it's such a kid thing to say.
Oh yeah. Yep. I thought the quote for me for Wim this week was him saying, "It's like I can never figure out who's right or who's good or who's bad. Why can't I figure out who's good?"
Yeah,
because
he's a kid and he's naive.
Yeah. But I think he kind of realized that to the point where he just can't go off on the edge. And when he got the little, I guess, recognition from KB at the end there, that it just meant all the better for him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Wim decides it's best to follow these trash crabs, and he says they can talk, therefore they're intelligent. We've heard that before in Star Wars. That just because you can talk doesn't mean you're intelligent.
Yusa?
Qui-Gon Jinn, mentions that about Jar Jar, and wow, was he right? Just because you can talk doesn't mean you're intelligent. So back on the pirate ship, the pirates decide they want Jod to walk the plank. I mean, they're going to toss him out of the airlock. And they decide they have to give him equal time. It's the pirate code. The pirates live by this code, that's for sure. So Captain Brutus turns on his egg timer, and he has until the end of the egg timer to plead his case.
One thing about this scene, the female pirate who was standing behind Brutus, she looked really distraught, and she's the one who suggested the equal time.
Yeah,
I may be reading far too much into the time that this actor got, or this character got. Who is she to Jod that she would care that much? Is she the person that got him out of whatever Jedi situation he was?
I got that feeling too. She has more to play into this.
Mm-hmm. And it gave him the extra out too. This is what got him the extra stay of execution. So. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I felt the same way too. My thought in my head canon was that she was like his pirate mother, because we're assuming he left the Jedi Order during Order 66 and was adopted by the pirates, and maybe she was one that raised him as her own.
Oh, yeah,
might be the only one that knows he has Force abilities.
Yeah, and maybe exactly.
What I thought was weird with this whole situation, though, too, is he came up with all those jewels and gold and everything else. Don't you think the pirates would have said, "Hey, where'd you get this? Why didn't we go back and get some more?" Instead of just like, "Hey, we're ready to shoot you out the air hatch here." And I thought for sure that would have been his big bargaining chip right there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they had to cheese it quick because the X-Wings were there. So they got off planet right away.
Yeah, but he had all that stuff around his neck.
Yeah.
It should have been the first thought. You're right, pirates. Let's go down and finish cleaning it out.
Yeah, let's come back and regroup, and let's get this. Show us where you got it from.
And am I wrong? That was still the pirates' headquarters? The old pirate, the captain of the ship and stuff like that? So why wouldn't they want to get down there and find out all the information they could? Did it somehow close off at the end? Did I miss that?
they took the droid, they took Smee, and Smee was hooked up to the system. So I think that they have all the information with Smee.
They figured they needed.
Yeah.
So Jod does his "I'm hungry" speech and convinces the pirates to follow him to At-Atten, where they could, take over the mint and make all their Republic credits that they want. Because everybody knows that, making more money, that's great for the economy.
Well, what I want to know is where all this metal is coming from. Like, where are they getting the resources to have done this for thousands of years? And where's it all going?
On this planet, I mean, we're making coins and gold and everything on this planet.
Its moon could be solid gold for all we know.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Yeah,
you can have that.
You even get a pirate shanty with Jod. Jod's. I didn't write it down or anything like that, but anybody care to sing it?
Nah,
nominate Patrick. Let him use his pirate voice.
Anyways, I thought that was a fun little song. Back at Skull Ridge Mountain, KB shuts down pretty much completely. So Wim has to make a replacement fuse, put it in the back of her neck, while Fern and Neil try to climb the ladder to up the mountain. Neil's having a hard time of it, and Fern somehow just happens to find a rope and ties it around herself and basically drags his butt up the mountain. Up to, as far as they need to go. The fuse, the way they made it, how she took the old fuse out and stuck it in the sand, and he melted some wires and poured the melted wires into the hole. It wasn't nearly as long as the original fuse.
Yeah, I had questions about that, but I let it go. Just the temperature of the cup he was holding with the melted wires in it, first off, before he poured it in there. Then the hole was, she put the old fuse into the ground in the sand, and it made a hole long.
And not all the way in. She didn't put it all the way in.
Correct.
Yeah.
And if you're doing this right, you would put it in and then pound it to make it tight and exactly the same. Yeah. With Star Wars.
It worked.
Yeah, I say we're overthinking it.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and I guess my point is, instead of carrying a torch, carry a spare fuse.
Right.
Yeah.
But that being said, though, they didn't know they were going to go on some big adventure, though, either. At least she had some of the tools already.
And they did re-say it a couple times, how she has to have constant checks of all her machinery, all the time. So that makes sense. Although it worked perfectly, and it did give you that whole science fiction pause that you always get when something like this is supposed to work and the person's going to die if it doesn't work, and they look like they died, and then pop up again and they're perfect. So it fit right in.
Yeah. The line of the episode for me personally was, I'll bet you thought it was going to be a lot more exciting. What? Saving someone's life.
Yeah, that was right on.
Yeah.
And that fits in the whole Wim type of, I think, character building point where he didn't even know he was on an adventure. Then.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He was just doing it.
Yeah.
So the folks at the resort decide to basically just dump the Onyx Cinder into the trash. I mean, the thing's falling apart. It's an eyesore. They know that Jod's gone. As far as they know, the elders aren't coming back, which are really the kids. So they get some tugboat type ships to haul it to the dump, and somehow the kids jump onto one of these tugboat things, and Fern gets control of it with a joystick that's on top of it.
That's great.
Sure, that's handy.
And it's meant to be used laying down on it, not sitting in a seat or nothing really comfortable, but laying down as if you're flying on top of it.
Yeah, or maybe you take really small aliens that normally fly this thing and stand there with a big, huge joystick. I don't know.
It's being piloted remotely, but if someone happens to be on top of it, they can manually override the pre-programming.
Right.
Yeah.
It's again Star Wars.
Yeah. Right. But the story was great.
It's fun. I mean, come on.
So KB and Wim are following these trash cabs, and the trash crabs I thought were really cool design. They find old droid parts, and instead of using shells or whatever that crabs on Earth would use or creatures would use, one of them has a leg of a droid. You know,
think hermit crabs. You know,
like hermit crabs. Yeah. And they kind of repeat whatever they were last heard. Like they kept saying, follow, help, follow, home. Yeah. So they're following this crab, and they meet up with this big mother crab or monster crab or father crab, the big leader crab, which was animated by Phil Tippett, which of course we all know did the stop motion animation for the Rancor and the AT-AT walkers in Return of the Jedi and Empire Strikes Back. So it was great to see that again. And he did some work on Mandalorian or Book of Boba Fett, I think too. He did
because of the Rancor stuff.
Yeah. Would this have been corny when the kids saw the big crab? If they would have said, "It's a trap," and then all the little trash crabs said, instead of because I think he says danger or something like that, and all they all say or trouble. They say we're in trouble. I think we're in trouble, and all the little crabs say we're in trouble. If they would have said it's a trap, and all the little traps would have say it's a trap, would that have been too corny?
It would have been too corny, I think.
I think it would have been great if they didn't. If they said it's a trap and they said yes. They agreed. They didn't say the same thing.
But I did like how they go, "Oh no, I think we're food. I was like, "Oh, yep, they got it right."
Yeah. So the Onyx Cinder is being hauled away. The 4 tugboat type ships. Neil and Fern jump on one of them. They manage to get it to crash land, and they walk away, and they end up crash landing right in front of Fern and KB. And they run away from that big crab? Like, what happens with that big crab? Did I miss something?
I think they just moved too fast. I missed that part too.
Yeah. It's like we had this big crab so we could get Phil Tippett to be in Star Wars again. And that was it. Like, nothing came of that.
Oh, no. There was like a cliff, and they jumped onto the same tugboat thing. So they jumped away somewhere.
Right. Yeah, she flew close to him, and they jumped away onto it. The whole thing was just, that's
a great story.
It's a great story.
But it was funny how last episode, I think we agreed, with how many episodes they have, they're not getting off the planet this next episode. Like, something's going to happen.
Right.
It's not happening. And this is what it was.
Well, you always have that episode that's not a step back per se, but it's not a step forward. It's more of like let's just get comfortable with where we are and take a break. Everybody take a break.
Well, like a side quest.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And let's get ready for the finale.
Well, and in this case, all of the characters grew. You know, Neil became more brave. He just needs a system where he can work his way through it. If it's just let's go, he gets scared. Fern learned that she has to slow down and help the people around her. Wim learned that he can do great things. He just can't be trying and expecting to do them. And right. KB learned to trust other people. So, everyone grew.
So these are basically Wizard of Oz characters. Sure. Got Dorothy, the Tin Man, the Cowardly Lion, and the Scarecrow.
Yep.
That's pretty much who we got here. Okay. Wim would be the lion. Yeah. Yeah.
And I got to tell you, the way it ended was one of the worst things I found in these episodes, and worse, and I don't mean that really badly, but it always ends at the perfect time. Mm-hmm. Like Jod had the lightsaber last week, and he's looking at it, and it ends, and then you hear it go, zzz, or this week you have the ship basically going through its rigmarole and then taking off, and vroom, that was it. I'm like, no, more.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the lightsaber, because the pirates do take the lightsaber away from him.
Right away.
Yeah. So the lightsaber is still in the area. It's still in play.
And like I said, I'm pretty sure, I'm 99% sure that we did hear it go on at the end of last week's episode. Mm-hmm. And it did go on for a second. So with Wim, so, fully charged. I've charged at least.
Oh, yeah.
And there's already one of those saber makers that's made the replica. You can buy it already.
Oh, awesome. Very cool.
Did it really?
Yep. Oh, yeah.
It's a beauty.
That's a nice one. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's reference of it coming from the High Republic. I think I read this past week.
It looks nice. Yeah. It looks like that.
So the show's not quite over yet. The Onyx Cinder kind of breaks free like a butterfly breaking from its chrysalis. It's it's now a more beautiful ship than it ever.
I was thinking birth, but yes, that was pretty good.
Yeah. Giving birth, basically, breaking free. Yeah, it did feel like that. The way it was pulling out, like it was, something.
I got very saucer detaching from the rest of the Star Trek first.
I thought of that first.
The Next
Yeah.
Generation.
Like separation. Literally, it pulled out. I mean, it was like a banana coming out of the skin. It was like great.
Mhm.
And the engines were all intact. I mean, the engines were like legit, and the back, I guess, half of the ship was legit, and it just pulled everything out from the armor.
Yeah.
Cool.
So it looks like they're headed to At-Aten. The pirates are headed to At-Aten. I don't know if the X-Wings have the coordinates to be able to go there. Or are they going to follow somebody?
Well, how'd they find the pirates where they were? So maybe that'll be the way to find them where they're going.
Well, they got called. I'm pretty sure that the people at the resort
I'm sure they got
reached out to him and said,
in.
"Hey, we need the police here. Send some X-Wings, some Rangers." Is what I'm guessing happened.
If I had to guess, I would say the X-Wings or the Rangers are going to be following them to go to At-Aten.
Yeah. So are we all going to meet?
Or Wim's dad gets that signal out, and the New
Right.
Republic comes over there. But if
Well,
I had
I
to
don't know
guess,
what-
I would say
like
they're
Wim's-
going to follow him.
Wim's dad doesn't need the Republic to come to At-Aten. He wouldn't even know about the Republic.
I know. I think he's going to put that signal out there to try to get a hold of someone saying their kids are gone. They need help.
And I'm hoping that that's Hondo that shows up.
That would be great. But that would
I don't think we're going to see Hondo. I got a feeling this is going to be its own thing.
I hope he shows up. I don't like to have expectations. I try so hard, and now after watching 6 episodes, I'm like, if Hondo doesn't show up, I'm going to be so angry.
What do you think? Do you think Hondo's going to be there?
For me?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I don't think it has anything to do with these pirates. Ed?
No, I don't think Hondo, but that's a good one. I like that. But I do think we're still going to get a crossover character in the next couple episodes that we haven't seen yet. That little bird-like owl character in a couple episodes
Jim?
ago. Right.
Yeah.
So that kind of was leading, I thought, to where we were going to find more characters that we might have recognized or known, since she seemed to be in the know of things. That didn't turn out. Maybe that's where the X-Wings came from, yada, yada. But I do think we'll get a crossover somehow.
You think maybe Mando comes in?
No, I don't see where the connection would be for him either, though, or for that storyline.
The only one I
He's
could see
essentially
maybe
a bounty
coming.
hunter. They put a bounty on Jod.
Good point. That's a great point.
Yeah, there is a bounty available. But is the bounty off now that the pirates got him? Because the ones that put the bounty on him got
You
him.
would think it would be,
no.
but then again, if it's already in action, he could be maybe making his way down there.
Right.
The only one I could see is that X-Wing pilot, that the Canadian actor, Mr. Kim.
Carson Teva. The character's name is Carson Teva.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised we haven't seen who the X-Wing pilots were yet. Did we?
Or who's
We did.
Yeah, we
wasn't
did.
the guy from Rebels? One of the main characters that we only got a glimpse in. Was it Mando? I think one of the last episodes. He's a character from Rebel. What's his name? Ezra's friend. He was the tall, big guy.
Oh, Zeb.
Yeah, Zeb. Maybe he's in one of those X-Wings.
Yeah. He's an X-Wing pilot now.
Be interesting.
That'd be interesting. Alrighty, so I think we're all in agreement that there's going to be a big meetup at At-Aten. I still think that cannon's going to come into play that's in the roof of the school.
Absolutely. That's what I wanted to say is I'm guessing end of episode 7, a whole bunch of ships are going to show up out of hyperspace at At-Aten, and then that's when it's going to cut.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then episode 8, Neil is going to save the day by telling the people who are defending At-Aten that there's a cannon right there. You just got to turn this one thing, because he saw the girl do it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I think that's going to happen. Maybe Wim's mom is an X-Wing pilot, and she shows up. I don't know. I'm still holding out hope that Wim's mom is still alive.
I'm not too sure about that.
Alrighty. Any final thoughts, guys, before we wrap this up?
I don't want it to end. I want them to keep going. Let's find more adventures for these kids to do.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Next week,
That's going to be the thing we'll hear for the next 6 months, about how season 2 was going to happen, but they'll cancel it. But then it's going to be on coming back again and such like that. The Acolyte, we've been hearing that for the last how many months since it's ended, where it's going to have a second season. It's not going to have a second season. They like to play the game.
Yeah.
I think with the kids, we have a better shot.
This one is doing really good in Rotten Tomatoes. The tomatoes like it. This one, I can't remember what the score was, but I think it was in the 90s.
That's
I
great.
don't follow too many of the message boards, and I don't hear too much hate on this compared to what I did on the Acolyte.
Yeah.
I agree.
So,
Next week's director is Lee Isaac Chung. He's the director of the movie Twisters, and he also did Chapter 19, The Covert of Mando in the Mandalorian series.
Yep. So he's already done Star Wars, and so when they wanted him to come in, he already knew how to package it. So,
So it should
looking
be
forward to his episode.
Exciting episode next week.
Yeah, and then the finale is back to the creator, John Watts, right?
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah, he did episode 1 and episode 8.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, Ken, take us away and go get yourself a crab sandwich on me.
If you have a brilliant idea for a future edition of The Solo Show and would like to take your turn in the guest host's chair, then drop us an email at thesoloshow01@gmail.com. Tell us about your idea for a show and we'll contact you about a date and a time for you to join us. If you would just like to keep the conversation going or have a comment about a previous show, then visit us on Facebook at The Solo Show. Don't forget to join us on YouTube, like us, and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you'll never miss a new show. All logos, songs, music, and sounds that are made by and for Disney and its affiliates are owned by the Disney Corporation and are not, nor are they intended to be owned by the Solo Show podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. Thanks for listening, and bye for now.